Inland Sports TV show. It's Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, so you know where to be. It's your favorite show here in the Inland Empire. We appreciate you tuning in. A lot of great football coverage coming your way because it is our pledge to you, the Inland Empire sports fans, to talk local football in every single show. Coming up in our next segment, the Kaiser Cats live in studio as we take a look at their upcoming season, maybe reflect back a little bit on that CIF championship as well, but also look ahead to what's coming up. We're also going to hear from UC Riverside men's basketball coach David Patrick, who has been selected as one of the coaches for the Australian national team. NBA guys all over the Australian national team. David Patrick will be one of their head coaches, and then Mike Lindskog, broadcaster for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. The Quakes trying to defend their California League championship. He'll check in with us as well. Right now, though, we're starting off the show talking a little USC football. He's one of our favorite guys, and he's back. It's been way too long. It's Justin Dedich, the pride of Chaparral High School, who's now hopefully going to be on that starting O-line for USC this upcoming fall. So, Justin, first off, how are you doing, man? It's been way too long.
I've been doing good, at USC, so.
Well, Justin, listen, man, the last time that we spoke, you had just signed with USC, and you were excited to go off to, the college life and join the Trojans. How has it been since you've been at USC, and maybe some of the biggest challenges you've had since going from Chaparral High School to Troy?
Yeah, that was already like a year and a half ago when I signed and got on. But when I first got there, college is a big difference because it's a lot more responsibility on you. So you have to do all the extra work and all the classwork on your own. So it was hard to keep up with the time management aspect. And football-wise, it's a different game. It's a lot faster, a lot harder. And I just had to get used to the tempo. And now hopefully I can get some reps this next year, and I'm used to the tempo of the game.
Now, the last time we spoke also, you were eating an incredible amount of food.
Yeah.
Is it still the case?
Yeah, they got me up to 300 pounds now, so, I got to eat a lot still. I got to eat even more to keep this weight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably burn a lot of calories, right? So you've got to eat a lot to actually maybe even gain some weight.
Yeah, if I don't eat, I'll lose 6 pounds or 7 pounds in one day. So it's just 8 meals, 7 meals a day I got to eat. It's a lot of calories and put them in my body. Top ramen, all of that good stuff.
Whatever you can get your hands on, right?
Yeah.
The college life. Do you cook for yourself at all?
So they provide a lot of meals during fall and spring, but summer it's a little so-so because NCAA rules. So I've been cooking a lot. I've been putting on my chef hat and cooking up some I cooked chicken pot pie last night. It was so good from scratch.
So a cook and a star football player. Justin, How is USC going to do this year? There's so many local USC football fans in the Inland Empire, and they want to see them do well again. Are you excited about this upcoming season and how, the Trojans might be able to hopefully challenge for a Pac-12 championship?
Yeah, last year wasn't the best year, and we definitely changed the attitude of our game because we got knocked down on our feet, so we had to stand back up, and it's a totally different vibe. It's way more intense this summer, and we're actually feeling it. We're feeling confident in who we are in our game and that we represent the Trojan logo. And so I think it's going to be a good turnaround this year, and hopefully all the fans will watch.
Now, as you get ready for the season, for you individually, what are some of the things that you're working on right now to maybe just be ready for that first game, for that first kickoff?
Yeah, definitely film. Film is one of the most important parts of the game. So I've just been studying NFL guys like Ryan Khalil, who's actually here today visiting, and Kelsey from the Eagles. And then I've been doing film work on the teams that we're about to play, and just extra little work so I can prime myself to be ready for that fall camp in week 1, game 1.
Now, Justin, coming out of Chaparral, you were one of the top-ranked offensive linemen, like the #1 center in the country. Then you get to USC, and there's a bunch of guys with 5 stars. Was there an adjustment period to that caliber, that level of football, where everyone was a star in high school?
Yeah, definitely. The year before, Brett Nealon, he was the other center that came in. He was the #1 center, too, in his class, and it was just he went through the same exact process as me, so I wasn't special, I came down to earth a little bit, and it was actually really good because I'm glad I went to USC and got to see that competition, because otherwise I don't think I would have excelled in my game, and I won't still. I would have stayed the same and had bad habits. So I'm glad I came to the school where there's 5 stars around me, because I get to excel, not just float at my high school level. So.
Hey, let's give a quick shout out to Coach Raymer and all the guys at Chaparral High School. Something about Chaparral where they continually just crank out great offensive linemen. I know you work a lot with our friends over at Giant Skills, Coach Talamaval and those guys too, but man, something they do at Chaparral, they just produce great linemen who are all over these big time Division I college programs. Certainly you're one of them, Stephen Jones, Mason Walters, another guy. What is it about Chaparral, Coach Raymer and his staff down there?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Raymer, I owe him a lot. I love Coach. He's like another dad to me, or uncle kind of thing. He's a good dude. A lot of people like him. They like his technique. He gets around. He's a friendly face in the football community, and he knows what he's talking about. And he builds a great foundation for a lot of athletes. Like Big E, I don't know, we call him Big E. He was Elia. He's the next rising lineman at Chap, and you can already see him transforming from when he was a freshman. He's starting to get tougher, meaner. Raymer's transforming him. Coach Hess, Coach Argent. They're just great dudes, and they gave me that great foundation to go off in college and show them why I can play.
Hey, Justin, finally, are you growing out a beard for the season, or a mustache, or a Fu Manchu? What's going on?
I had the mustache for summer. I got a little lazy with trimming up the beard. So I don't know what's going to happen for season. Probably a beard, but I had the mustache for a while. I got like a few dudes on board. We call it summer stashes. It was pretty cool. A lot of people liked it. So.
Well, it's a good look, so keep it going. And if the ladies around USC like it too, then there's no reason to shave it off, right?
Yeah, no reason at all.
All right, Justin Dedich, everybody, the pride of Chaparral now at USC. Justin, we really appreciate the time, brother, and let's do this again real soon, man. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and hopefully it won't go as long this time. A year and a half. So.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, that's Justin Dedich from Chaparral High School, the pride of, the Pumas. Again, long line of great offensive linemen coming out of the Temecula area, and Justin Dedich, one of those guys. Hopefully we'll see him with a starting spot for the Trojans this upcoming season. Now, staying with college football, next week, fingers crossed, if we can pull this off, we're going to try to do the show live out at San Bernardino Valley College, as they have one of their, I guess you'd almost call it a fall practice. The helmets are almost ready to come out, even for the Wolverines. But we're going to be out there because they've got a lot of new faces, including their quarterback, who's going to be Jeremy Musa. We got a little video highlights from him because you'll remember him. He was the quarterback at Roosevelt High School when they had some pretty good teams out there for Tommy Leach. He went to Hawaii, signed with the Rainbow Warriors, but he has bounced back to SBVC, and he'll be playing out there for Coach Daniel Algadas, who's kind of that quarterback whisperer out there at Valley College. So we're going to try to go, fingers crossed, live at SBVC next week, get an update on the Wolverines, and hopefully hear from Musa as well on his decision to come back and play for SBVC, who is coming off a fantastic season, 11-2, played for the American Conference Championship, losing a tight one to LA Pierce. But they're lined up to have another big season at SBVC, and Moose is going to follow in the footsteps of Armando Herrera, the former Rev quarterback who rewrote the record book out there at Valley College. And speaking of linemen, we just had Justin Dedich on here, but Temecula Valley head coach Bert Esposito hit me up and said, how about a little love for the Temecula Valley linemen? They just had their big TV Golden Bear Air Assault, the 7-on-7 passing tournament, but they also do the lineman competition out there because we love the big guys around here. And I think we have a picture of the TV linemen as well. Temecula Valley, with a lot of great teams out there, won their own lineman competition. So a shout out to the Golden Bears. There they are, looking big and tough, showing off the guns. They won their own lineman competition, which is saying something because there was a lot of good teams down there at that tournament, like 24, 25 teams down there at Temecula Valley. So shout out to the Golden Bears and Coach Esposito and the big guys. We love the big guys on this show. All right, when we come back on the Inland Sports Show, we have the Kaiser Cats live in studio. Coach Cardosi, Trey Tribble, Gabe Ortiz will be sitting right here as we break down the Cats' upcoming season. We'll be back on the one and only Inland Sports Show.
What's going on, guys? This is Ray Bass from Boost Performance Training. You're watching the Inland Sports Show with the one and only Pep Fernandez.
We develop quality citizens who keep our core, our country, and our communities side by side on the winning side. Not for glory, but for honor. For a code that isn't written or spoken, but lived. It's what we do. It's who we are. It's the battle cry of our fighting spirit. Battles won. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
Yeah.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
All right, welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. We're just getting caught up talking a little Kaiser Cats football. We appreciate you joining. I should mention Jeff Gorham has the night off, and we do love Jeff, but we had to make room for the Kaiser Cats here at the big table. This is where the big boys eat. Guys, coming off a CIF championship, Coach Cardosi, I'll start with you. I think you brought the hardware too. What rings do you have on right now?
I have a couple of them, 2 for the 2018 one from last year and the 2012 ring. So I've been fortunate enough to be a part of some great coaches and players at Kaiser. Have been a part of all 4 CIF championships.
So you got the 2018 ring. Do you keep that on for a while to remind the guys, or do you put it away and say, guys, this is a clean slate now?
We put it away. I really don't break it out at practice or anything. It's a new year. It was a fun year last year, especially with everything with our family and whatnot. But that's over, and I like to tell the kids, we can't rest on our laurels, and we can't just think that, oh yeah, we were good last year, we're going to be good this year, especially with the huge target that's on our back. That's what we have to understand, is that people want to kill us and they're coming after us. And if we're just going to sit around and think we're good, that's how you get beat.
All right, Trey, let me go to you. Go ahead and pick up the microphone. We got Trey Tribble join us as well. And Trey, you were the QB last year on that championship team. Before we go too far ahead and start looking at this upcoming season, when you look back on last year's season and the championship, what are some of the memories that you guys made? What are the things that you will remember about that championship run?
Just that one play when I broke off on the fake.
Go ahead and just hold it real close for us so we can all hear it. Yeah.
On the fake to Hunter, on that one play, break off touchdown. That started everything.
Yeah, Christian Hunter can't carry the ball every time, right? We got to give Trey some carries in there.
We were talking about it. I told Trey it's a pretty good accomplishment that you got. He had 23 touchdowns last year on a team that had a kid that had 58. So that's pretty good.
It is really good.
Yeah, very good.
We also got Gabe Ortiz holding it down on the defensive side of the football, who is dangerously close, I guess, to breaking the school's all-time record, right, Coach?
For tackles, yeah. He's about 90 away.
Gabe, what will you remember about last year's championship run?
That mic up.
Just the teamwork and like the fun that everyone had, and going to each game, the competitiveness that we had.
Yeah. So you guys make this championship, and like you said, Coach, clean slate. Mm-hmm. This is a new season. You do have some returners. Obviously, we got a couple guys up here
At least two. Yeah, that's it.
Somewhere, someone's taking.
Well, there's a couple here and there that played, but as far as there are some guys that played last year that are coming back. But we lost a lot of guys. We're a very senior-oriented team. We lost. What we had, the banquet was forever. We had 28 seniors, that all had a chance to speak. So, we're going to be young, and we're going to have to. Start over with guys that are going to have to make their own story and, build their own legacy at Kaiser. The name across the chest is one thing, but what are you going to do when you're there? What kind of work are you going to put in? Are you just going to think because you put the jersey on you're going to win? Because that's not going to happen. You look back to 2016, we weren't very good. And I think, we talked about that a little bit about if you think that you're good, you're going to get smacked in the mouth and you're going to get beat down. So, we've been hammering that point home, or at least trying to, and hopefully it sinks in. We may need to get our teeth kicked in a few times to finally understand it, but we know that, people are coming for us.
Yeah. So, Gabe, were you around the program in 2016? I don't know if it was freshman or JV.
No, it was not.
So, what Coach just said about having to, toughen up a little bit maybe. I don't know how you'd want to put that, but, do you feel like this team coming off a CIF championship, you still have like something to prove, right? Like you still want to go out there, you want to be hungry, right? You want to be passionate. Can't rest on your laurels, right? You got to go out there like this is a brand new version. This is like a book. It's a new chapter. I mean, as a senior, do you feel like you're kind of leading that charge for this new season?
Yeah, I have to show by example and lead for the younger guys and show them what to do and what not to do.
So, Coach, fall camp, I guess you call it fall camp, right? Even though it's not the fall, but like when you start with the helmets and the pads and stuff like that. How important is it you guys set the tone in that first week or two?
Well, it's important to set the tone to understand that, I remember a wise man once said that you only have one thing in common with your opponent, and that's time. And what are you going to do with that time? Are you going to make the best of it? Is it going to be quality? Because if it's quality, then we're getting prepared. Or is it going to be quantity where we got to get on the line, we have to run because we're not doing things the correct way? It's how you manage that time. Is it going to be quality time, or is it going to be pulling teeth? Is it going to be, we're not doing what we're supposed to do, guys. We're wasting our time out here. Because when you're wasting that time, somebody's getting better. Somebody's always getting better. Somebody's always working. And especially when they want what you have, or what they perceive that you have. And that's a championship.
Now, Trey, you were obviously a very important part of that championship run as a sophomore quarterback last year. Now that you're a junior, there's probably going to be more of that offensive load on your shoulders. Do you embrace that challenge of, maybe being the guy on offense now?
Yeah, I just got to work a little bit harder this year than last. And got to keep going, go what I go for.
Coach, you compared him to Kyler Murray, right? I hear he's a baseball star as well.
Well, he's our version. He's a humble kid. He's a good kid. He's an outstanding baseball player. I mean, just an outstanding. But he's an even better young man. You get to know these kids and these guys. They're very good. They're very good kids. They have good character. There's two things that it takes to play football at Kaiser. You have to be a good person and get good grades. And these two young men exemplify that. And that's first and foremost. But yeah, this kid can fly around center field. He can play middle infield. He can hit the ball. And, he can throw the ball and he can run. He's a dual threat quarterback. And if you think Kaiser doesn't know how to throw, you have another thing coming.
Yeah, that was my next question. Like, obviously, you've had some great running backs the last couple of years. And it's a run-heavy offense. But Trey will pop one over that secondary if you go to sleep on him, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you look last year. I know everybody, Chris is great. He's at Colorado State, and we're very proud of him. And, Tyler at BYU before him. But, Trey last year, he threw for 1,100 yards and ran for 1,100 yards. And, I mean, in the state game against a very good Wilcox team, I mean, he was threading the needle, putting the ball where it needed to be. And if we need to throw the ball, we know we're confident that we have someone that can lead our offense running or throwing, whatever we need.
All right, Trey, let's be honest. You ever go to Coach in the middle of a game or at practice and be like, Coach, we need to throw the ball just a little bit more. I want to show off my arm just a little bit more.
I think it, but I don't say it. I think it, but I don't say it.
I want him to say it. You need to tell me. You need to speak up.
Let's
That's
throw
all right,
it.
brother. You're good.
Let's go to the air, Coach. And on the subject of being honest, so Gabe, Coach Cardosi has like the best interviews of all time. Do you ever hear something in the huddle or at practice and you just start laughing to yourself like, oh my gosh, Coach, man, he's such a character?
He does make me laugh a couple times. He does make me laugh a couple times.
Well, that's good.
Do you still hear about the infamous interview, just the out-of-body experience?
Not too much. It's it was you're running on a lot of emotion. It was an emotional year for all of us, and it was fun. When you win a championship. It's good that we had Henry Rush capturing a lot of moments last year for us.
Best.
And it's good to relive because it was a really fun experience. But it's nice around the holidays and stuff to reminisce. But that's over, and it's time to get to work for 2019.
So you guys are going to be in Division 6 in 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Coming off a Division 8 championship, but Division 6, we were kind of talking about the local inland area teams in Division 6. There's some really good teams in D6.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you guys, I'm assuming will be in the mix, but there's a lot of good competition in Division 6.
We saw that when the divisions came out, and immediately, you have to look at a team like Citrus Valley. I mean, they're an outstanding coaching staff, great coaches there. Los Osos, another great coaching staff with a lot of guys coming back. A lot of inland schools that are really good, starting with those two, are just really impressed me. The Division 6 playoffs are going to have a big inland feel because of those teams, Ayala, Apple Valley. I know I'm forgetting some.
We're talking about San Jacinto.
Oh, yeah, San Jacinto, they might be the best team.
Championship run, yeah.
San Jacinto. But Citrus Valley, San Jacinto, Los Osos, I mean, we're first of all, we have to figure out what's going on in our league. That's first and foremost before we talk about Division 6. We got to worry about really good coaching staff up at Summit and, great coaching staff and players at Grand Terrace, Mackay Lewis and, Bradford and those guys. They're outstanding. And so, we have to worry about getting better in the non-league first. Then we got to worry about an outstanding Sunkist league. And then we can maybe talk about those great teams like Citrus Valley and in Division 6.
Gabe, how does the team keep their focus? And as a senior, how do you help your teammates just keep the focus? I know it's cliche, but just going game by game to make sure you win league or finish high enough in league to get to the playoffs. How do you keep that focus coming off such a great season?
I think the coaches make sure that everyone is prepared every single game, every practice. And if we're not prepared or we're having a good practice, they tell us that we're not having a good practice and we'll step it up.
Yeah, that's probably hard, Coach, right? To just keep them dialed in, and again, it's a cliche, but it really is, right? If you can string together a couple wins, that's your season right there.
Yeah, it's important for you to understand as a person that you have to remain humble and you have to remain hungry. Because if you're not humble and hungry, you're going to get beat down in this life. Because football, as most coaches will tell you, is about teaching life lessons.
Parallels life, right?
Parallels life big time. And the minute you go out and start, sticking your chest out, God's going to cut you down. And it's important that you remain focused, humbled, hardworking, and a good person. If we stay true to that, no matter what happens at the end of the year, where we finish, where we end up, we'll be able as coaches to be happy and proud of our Kaiser Cats for doing things the right way. Like I said, if you're a good person and you get good grades, then we're happy with what you're doing at Kaiser. Everything else can fall into place after that.
So much of this conversation is about this upcoming season, but the year after is the new Arrowhead Conference.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take the Sunkiss, the San Andreas, and Carter High School, throw them all together. It's kind of like what you see in the Raincross Conference in the Riverside, Moval, I guess Menifee area, kind of Elsinore runs all the way down there. What do you think of this? I guess they call it like a power conference, but there's going to be 3 different leagues, 3 tiers inside of it. So you guys will be, I don't know if they're going to call it the top league. I assume you'll be in the top league the following year.
We'll see. That's up to people who make more money than me. But the thing about it that I'm not a big fan of is some sports may have potential rivalries taken away. There might be some teams on our campus, and maybe girls basketball might not play some in high school, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
There could be a situation where, Kaiser may not play Summit in football because we're not in the same conference. I'm not a big fan of things like that. I think there could have been some other things that were done, but that's not my call. We're going to play who's on our schedule. We're going to do our best, and that's kind of how I feel about it. I wish I'm more of a traditional. I kind of look at change and I kind of go, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Most people know me know that, but that's what I'm kind of not a big fan of. I don't like the idea that some schools or some sports at our school may not play some of our traditional rivals. And that's my biggest thing about the whole new conference thing. Oh, let's make everything fair. Life's not fair. So, I think young people have to get used to that. And the sooner that we get young people used to life being not fair, I think that makes things better for everybody.
Well, hopefully they'll take into consideration when they're drawing out these conferences and the leagues and who they're going to play. Like they'll take into consideration, like, dude, Kaiser's got to play Summit. Like, you know what I mean? Naturally, that's got to happen, right?
Yeah, I just don't know. And hopefully they do. We have a lot of respect for Summit and what they do up there, and I think the feeling's mutual with Coach Matheny. He's a good man, and I would hope that it wouldn't get interrupted, But at the same time, it's good for our schools. It's fun, and it may not happen in this sport, in that sport. And I'm not a big fan of conferences like that. And I'm sure as a sportscaster, it must be difficult. You don't know what league this team's in depending on each sport.
I have a cheat sheet. I got to keep them in front of me. Be like, oh yeah, the Ivy League. That's make me sound smart. Trey, are you ready for the season? Are you so excited? Like you just want to get out there and get going?
Yes, sir.
So you guys have a scrimmage against Redlands East Valley, right? So that's going to
August 15th at Dodge Field. At least that's what Lunsford tells me. Hopefully that's still on and cracking. And it'll be at 6:00 on August 15th.
Okay, so besides convincing Coach to just spread it out and just wing that ball every single play, what are you hoping to achieve in that scrimmage, just offensively, so you guys are ready for that first real game of the year?
Offensively, I'm just hoping that we get used to the pace of the game, because we have a lot of guys that are just there, like they just got there. Well, not really just got there, but like
get more playing time.
They're new to the line, and I just need them to get ready. We all need to get ready as a team, as a unit. So it'd be good for us to scrimmage someone as good as them.
And how about you, Gabe? I know for a long time, especially when the helmets and pads come on, it can get real old having to smack around your own teammates. You want to go see somebody else. What are you hoping to come out of that scrimmage against Rev before that first real game?
Just like Trey said, there's a lot of new guys coming up from JV, coming up to VAR. They're not gonna have any experience playing VAR. They just need to have the pace, get used to the pace and everything. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're excited. That's going to be a great scrimmage. And then your first game is against
Sultana at Sultana.
Have you ever played them before?
Twice last year. We got a lot of respect for those guys up there. They really did get much better last year, and we played them week 0 and then in the first round of the playoffs. And we're going to have our work cut out for us week 0, August 23rd.
Well, guys, I appreciate the time. Much success this year. That was such a fun ride last year. We'll see what you guys do as an encore this year, but we appreciate the time, and best of luck to the Cats.
We appreciate you having us on, and thank you very much.
Yeah, you guys got it. When we come back, he's blowing up my phone. He's getting very anxious. It's Mike Lindskog, the broadcaster for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, when we come back on the Inland Sports Show.
What's up? It's Patrick and 40 morning on 96.7 KCal Rocks.
You're watching the Inland Sports TV show. We love you, Pep.
How you guys doing? Coach Bass here, letting you all know that we will be opening enrollment for the 2019-2020 Boost Alternative School for student athletes in January. Bass is a private school here in Corona, California that emphasizes academic and athletic development for student athlete life as they prepare for high school and college. If you'd like more information regarding our private school, please feel free to reach out to us directly. You can contact us through social media, on Instagram at Boost Training, on Twitter, Boost_Training, or you can contact us here at our gym at 951-532-4904.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
For a place, a people, an idea, for right and freedom, for liberty and justice for all. For every square inch between fruited plains and spacious skies. Marines fight to win. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show live at Val Verde Teen Vision TV 16. A big shout out to the Kaiser Cats for swinging by. We love talking high school football. We also love talking California League baseball. The Rancho Cucamonga Quakes trying to win another California League title. Join us live right now on the show. He's a dear, dear friend. And man, he's got a big face on that screen. It's Mike Lindskog, the voice of the Quakes. How are you, Mike? Hey, it's always good to see your smiling face out there. You know, the Quakes are the first half champions, so we know you're getting into the playoffs already. And I know minor league baseball is such a tricky thing as guys kind of move up and down the ladder, and you don't know who's going to be here maybe by the end of the season. But as we stand right now, I mean, how does it look on defending the California League title?
Well, the fact that we qualified for the postseason is obviously a huge first step for us. We are going to have the opportunity to defend that title, as we mentioned, come September. We'll have the opportunity to either play Lancaster, Lake Elsinore, or Inland Empire when the time comes. As far as, you know, the team that we're going to field come September, that kind of remains to be seen. You gotta consider a lot of factors at this time of year. You got the injury bug, you got the AA promotions bug. And now you have the trade deadline bug coming up within a week. So we're looking to navigate through all those opportunities, and hopefully we'll be able to field a competitive team when it comes time to defend that title.
Mike, you're the baseball expert around here, but so let me get your take on this. So the way I understand it, the baseball trade deadline's coming up on July 31st, and that is the concrete hard trade deadline, right? There's no waiver trade deadline a little bit later, like in August. So we could see a lot of movement that could trickle down to the Quakes, right, by July 31st?
Correct, and that's the first year that Major League Baseball has played by this new rule where everything's got to be in stone basically by July 31st. So in years past. For as long as I can remember, August 31st was the day where you really needed to have your ducks in a row and make sure that you had your team that you're ready to battle with in the postseason for the World Series and what have you. That has been moved to July 31st, which means, in 7 days, 8 days, whatever it is, we're going to see who's going to take the field for the Los Angeles Dodgers, in theory, come October when it's time to defend their National League crown.
Now, listen, I know you're still a very young guy, but you've called a couple baseball seasons in your day. Have you seen any major trades at the major league level that have trickled down and affected the Quakes in recent years, whether, it might have been some guys that were part of a package for a superstar at the major league level, but, it always involves, it seems like some minor leaguers in there. So any trades come to mind in recent years where it did have that domino effect all the way down to the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes?
Certainly, and as recently as last year, the Manny Machado package was very Quake heavy, if you will. We lost the California League MVP to the Baltimore Orioles in that trade. Rylan Bannon, who was named California League MVP less than a month after he was dealt to the Baltimore Orioles and went on to play in their minor league system. So in addition to Rylan Bannon, we lost a number of different players last year. Dean Kramer, Zach Pop, that were big parts of our team in 2018. That were part of fetching Manny Machado and bringing him out west. Obviously, long-term, it didn't work out for the Dodgers, and that, their ultimate goal in making that trade is to win a World Series. Unfortunately, for them, that didn't work, but it didn't ultimately impact us all the way negatively, even though we lost the California League MVP and a number of other players that were such a huge integral part of our success in 2018. We still went on to win the California League championship, and that's a real testament to the Dodgers' overall system because they're deep.
Yeah, so that makes them a good trade partner, I guess. It's kind of that thing where, obviously teams are going to come knocking, and the Dodgers, best team in baseball right now, are probably going to find trade partners because they're trying to, I'd say relief pitching, if I was going to go out on a limb right now. They're probably trying to make some moves out there, which, again, could involve the Quakes as they get ready for a World Series run. I have
a magic crystal ball, 8 ball here that I'm shaking, and I see that it says relief pitching is in your future. I think we'd be naive to think that the Dodgers are going to stand pat. They've never stood pat at the trade deadline in years past. They have the depth in the farm system to make moves, bring quality arms out west. I think that bullpen is certainly the priority. I think that starting pitching, if available at the right price, could be something that they would seek as well. But I think bullpen, like you suggested, is the priority. They've got a deep farm system, and we're just waiting to see how it all plays out. They may not involve any Quakes potentially, but if they trade away some guys, say in AAA or AA, then they need guys to plug those spots at the next levels. That's where it could also impact us as we lose guys to the next level up, because those guys at the upper levels have been traded.
That's a good reason. If you're a Dodgers fan, make sure you're following the Quakes. They're all over Twitter, Instagram. There's a lot of different ways you can follow your favorite California League team. They're in action tonight. Mike, I know you guys always have great promotions, so let's end on this. Give everyone out there some reasons to come out and check out the Quakes at Lone Mart Field.
You bet. Well, tonight's our first game back of the current homestand. We've got a long 6-gamer. Inland Empire 66ers, the Angels affiliate, is out here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be hosting the Oakland Athletics, California League affiliate from Stockton as well. And the A's are going to be busy come the trade deadline as well. So they may take similar hits to their Class A roster like the Dodgers Class A roster could potentially take, just because the A's are in the mix for a wild card. We've got fireworks coming up this Saturday night, courtesy of Smile Generation, and we've got tickets available, rcquakes.com. Me and my big head would love to see you out at the ballpark.
And that's life size. Like, it's not because of the screen. That's how big Mike's head is. Mike, you're the best, brother. Enjoy the game tonight. Have a great call, and we'll see you out there at Lone Mart Field very soon.
I mean, with a dome this size, how could you miss me?
You can't. Thank you, Mike. All right, everybody. That's Mike Lindskog, the voice of the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Old Mike Skoggy Skog, the Skog Dog. We appreciate the time. When we come back, We're talking UC Riverside men's basketball. Head coach David Patrick is on his way, not actually to Australia, I don't think, but with the Australian national team. We're going to tell you where he's going on the international level when we come back on the Inland Sports Show.
This is Alexander Madison. You're watching the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports. The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
First of all, I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
Coach Ray here. We're back at the BPC. Wanted to continue our movement-based mechanics here. We're talking about a back pedal. So today we're going to demonstrate how we program our back pedals, how we teach mechanics, and how we execute. Come check it out. So one of the first things I like to do with my athletes before we actually get into a back pedal is I like to work on the movement patterns of an actual back pedal. So what Cruz is going to do, he's going to get into a staggered position here. So let's go ahead and bring those feet in a little tighter. All right. And so what I'm looking for with that backward movement, I'm looking for a push off that front leg and then a step back with the back leg. So what we do to simulate that movement is we're going to do a step to a lunge. So you're going to go ahead and push off that left foot with the ball of your foot, and you're going to lunge back with the right. So ready? Go. You're going to lunge it down and then bring it back. Good. Go. Give me a couple reps of those. And we're doing that step to lunge. So we're simulating that movement pattern of the back pedal. We're going to push off that front leg and step with the back. And relax. So what we'll do is we'll build off of that, and we're going to go into an actual back pedal now. So go ahead and give me your 2-point stance there, our staggered stance, Cruz, facing the camera, facing the camera. All right, and all you're going to do is give me a quick back pedal. So we're going to simulate that movement pattern with a push and quick step. Here we go, ready? And go. Good, there we go, right there. Bring it back. Go ahead and alternate feet there. And go. Good, so you take a look at the footwork here. Those first 2 steps, we got a push and a step. Push and a step. Ready? Go. Good. Nice job. Backward movements, how we teach our pedals, how we progress them, right here at Boost.
Because when I think Chargers, I really don't. It's always been about Phillip Rivers. Yep. They've always had like these signature players, but they were never the running back. Antonio Gates. Like when I think running back, you guys will probably, you're more my wheelhouse. Natron Means. Oh, yeah. Remember Natron Means?
Yeah, Marion Butts.
Marion Butts. Oh man, the big headline has been about the Astros' Jake Marisnick, who's a friend of the program. He went to Riverside Poly. And remember, so he ran over Jonathan Lucroy, the Angels catcher.
He did.
the Astros come to the Big A in Anaheim, and they hit Jake Marisnick with a pick. Super tension right now. Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
And it all comes back to our guy from the IE. But Patrick, you're right. He handled it like a champ.
Inland Sports.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, our fourth and final segment. We save the best for last, I guess. UC Riverside men's basketball coach David Patrick in the house. He's a globetrotter this time of year, trying to, I guess, squeeze in some family time in between all the basketball stuff, right, Coach?
For sure. We're just getting back from Hawaii with my family, but yeah, back on the road come this week.
Now, we will talk some Highlander hoops here, but I know you're real excited because on Sunday this weekend, you're actually leaving to join the Australian national basketball team. Can you talk about that, where you're headed and, what you guys are up to?
Yeah, I was privileged enough to be asked to be an assistant coach on the Australian national team, as you mentioned, and we take off to prepare for the World Championships, which are this September in China. And so we have about a 3-week training camp in Melbourne and Perth, Australia, and then we'll head over to China in September and try to get a medal there at the World Championships.
Now, you said, and there's been some great NBA players to come out of Australia, but you said Australia's never medaled, right?
Never medaled at a senior championship, whether it be the Worlds or the Olympics, and so that's a huge goal of ours, and we definitely have a team that's capable of doing that this year.
Now, do you have any family members or godsons that play basketball?
Yeah, I got some that play and I got some that are good. So I got one that's good. So yeah, he's a part of the squad, and we'll see whether he'll play in the games in China, but he'll be a part of training camp come the national tryouts there next week.
Obviously, we're talking about Ben Simmons of the 76ers, and he had a nice little payday recently, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he can pay me back for the for the meals I bought him over the years, but he deserves it. Anybody that gets $170 million at 23 years old can definitely pay back their godparents.
He's not doing too bad for himself. So we're excited about you joining the Australian national team soon, but Coach, before you know it, the season's going to be here for UC Riverside. In fact, here we've got your upcoming schedule, which we wanted to talk about here on the Inland Sports Show. And we'll get to some of these games, but I want to start with the very first one. On the road at Nebraska, that's a great contest for you guys.
It's a great contest against a great coach. Fred Hoiberg is now their head coach. He just took over after leaving the Chicago Bulls last year. But it's a great test for our team in an environment where there's probably 16,000, 17,000 on opening night. But they're a new team like us, a young team, and it'd be a great challenge for us on opening night up in Nebraska.
Now, I really like the non-conference. You've got a game on the road at Washington State, so you have a Pac-12 opponent in there. There's Air Force.
Your favorite.
It was snow. It was a blizzard last time. I thought I heard somewhere in the back of the bus, you're like, we're not going back to Air Force. But there's Air Force. That's a hard place to play. And that was a good team last year.
They were good and very challenging for us. I thought we played them pretty well up there under the circumstances.
Probably should have beat them, to be honest.
And could have beat them. They have everybody back. But I thought a game after going into the new year where we could stay on the West, wouldn't take you back to Michigan or too far east, and a game that I think our guys want to try and get another win up there, or try to win up there, I should say.
And another game on that list I really like, that's the at Fresno State game. The Bulldogs have had some pretty good teams, and the Mountain West Conference is tough for basketball, but that's a tough place to win at Fresno State.
Really tough place to win. Justin Hudson, their head coach, did a great job last year in his first year there. But they're a team that has a lot of Inland Empire players on their team and California kids who our guys are familiar with. And I think it's a game where we can drive to and gives us a chance to kind of play a UC Irvine type team who are the upper echelon of our league, but a like size team for our league that we can play against.
Speaking of UC Irvine, at least for the Big West, to see them do well in the NCAA tournament kind of validates maybe where the Big West is going, like the level of play. Like, hey, man, Big West has some good basketball. There's some good players, some good coaches. That's a high level.
It's a high level, and I've talked after my first year to all my colleagues in the profession nationally that it's definitely the level of play is better than people would expect, and the coaching is amazing. When you talk about Russell Turner, you talk about Jim Less at UC Davis. You have Mark Gottfried up there at Northridge, and then Dan Munson, who's won everywhere he's been over at Long Beach. There's not a night off in terms of preparation and who you come up against in this league, and so it's a great league, and I'm so glad that Irvine was able to at least put the league on a pedestal when they got in the tournament.
Yeah, in fact they should have been in the Sweet 16 probably. But man, that was a good run by the Eaters. But we're talking Highlanders here. Coach, when you look at your roster, is Dikembe Martin finally a senior? I feel like we've been talking, because he was at North High too. I feel like we've been talking about this guy forever, but man, he's done a lot for this program. He's kind of been the poster boy, being a local Riverside guy, but he's finally a senior. You hoping to maybe see him have a huge, senior season on his way out?
Look, Dikembe's definitely worked at it this off season, and probably didn't finish the way he or we would have wanted to finish the year last year on our last game, but he's coming to work. And the one thing I'd say about Dikembe for me is anytime you get a new coach, it's hard to buy in, especially when you've been the man your whole time. And he's bought in with me from day one and my staff. And anything we ask of, he does. And that's on the floor and off the floor, whether it's academics or on the basketball floor. And so I'm hopeful he has a good year and we have a good year. And you're only as good as your senior leadership. And he's proven to do that so far this summer for us.
Well, you got, DK, and I don't want to leave, people out on purpose, but you had some great freshmen last year in Dragon Elkaz, Callum McCrae, Zach Watson saw some minutes, but we're going to see some new guys this year for UCR as well that I know you're really excited about. Who are these guys? Yeah, look, those three you mentioned played a lot of minutes as freshmen, and that does nothing but help you in your program. But, we had some guys sitting out last year I think can contribute in this league, and I think George Wilborn, who was a UTSA transfer, who averaged 8 and 7 over there in the Conference USA, should come in and help us early. We have Arinze Chittum from Washington State that sat out for us last year, who'll be eligible come the Washington State game. Should help us a lot in the interior. He's athletic, 6'10", 6'11", able to shoot the ball and block shots. We also had Daniel Madding, who originally signed with Texas Tech, sitting out. Who's another kid, 6'9", that gives us some more length and some more depth in the interior, and also makes us a little bit more athletic. And I'm excited about Kai Cabellas, who was a grad transfer from Pacific. He's won a lot of basketball at North Dakota, played for a great coach in Damon Stoudemire at Pacific, and he started in some big games and meaningful games. And so I think his leadership and his age will help this group of young men we have. So it's a great schedule. You got a great roster as well. Coach, going back to last season, you guys really turned a corner shooting the three. Like it was a pretty good shooting team, especially early on in the season. When you look at this year's team, where are you hoping the hallmarks are? Where are you hoping this team's going to be strong at throughout the year? Is it going to be rebounding, defense, shooting the threes again? Where are you hoping to see this team just really come out strong?
Well, the three-point line's moved back in college basketball, so that's going to, I think, drop some percentages on every team.
Except for Dragon, man. He's got range.
Yeah, he's got range. At least he thinks he does, but no, he has.
Hope he's watching right now.
Him and Dikembe, to their credit, finished both tied for 40th in the country shooting the three. And our team was 21st in the country shooting the basketball. So we were able to do that last year, but shooting doesn't show up in the winning column all the time. And so we've put a big emphasis on defending the basketball. Some of that's athleticism and length that you have to throw in there. I don't think it was lack of effort last year. Some of it was, we weren't big at every position other than our center spot. So I think that should help us this year. And then rebounding. We were a good defensive rebounding team last year, but we didn't get second attempts. And so with the size and athleticism we have, we're hopeful we can get more attempts or more offensive rebounding opportunities for us. But if we can defend, rebound at a high level, and continue to progress in shooting the ball like we did, then it gives you a chance to compete every night, not only in our league, but the out-of-conference opponents.
If you're a casual basketball fan and watching the show right now, Coach, how would you kind of describe your brand of basketball? Is it Golden State and score 130 points and just, outrun the other guys? Or is it like a 54-50 kind of game? You're just going to grind it out, possession basketball? Are you somewhere in the middle?
You know what? I think we'd like to be Golden State or Toronto this year.
Right?
Yeah. But, we do spread the floor out and we do shoot a lot of threes, but we're able to do that because we have good interior post players. And you mentioned Callum McRae. I think we have one of the better posts in the league, and we have him for the next 3 years. And I didn't talk about Angus McWilliam, who was our addition from TCU. He's 6'11", 250, and him and Callum have played with each other and against each other their whole life. So when you have two guys that size in the post, it hopefully opens up the floor to be able to shoot the basketball. So we want to play up and down, but we want to also put the ball in the post and try to take advantage of our size in the post there.
Do you think size-wise you're going to be one of the bigger teams in the Big West Conference? And, a lot of the, we see 6'7" centers or whatnot in the Big West, like some smaller lineups. You guys might be the biggest team around?
I think Irvine's always big, as we know. But I think we're big in stature. We're big
hearts.
we're big in on the stat sheet. Like when we walk in the gym, we look like a Power 5 team. Now whether we play like one will be determined. So I think we'll be one of the bigger teams. My hope is that we'll be one of the tougher teams, and if we can do that, then we give ourselves a good chance to finish higher up in this league this year.
Coach, have you been to China before?
I have. I was fortunate to go for the Beijing Olympics.
Okay.
One of my former players, Patty Mills, who plays with the Spurs, played in his first Olympics there, so got to go see him, and it's fortunate that he'll be still playing on this team and being able to go back this year, but it's a little different than Riverside.
As just being a basketball nut over here, I love hoops. Can you name drop who were some of the guys on the Australian national team that people might recognize?
I think you'll be familiar with Andrew Bogut, who was our first number one pick, Australia's first number one pick in the draft, and he's
still going strong.
And he's coming to the end of his career, but he's still finished up in Australia this year and finished with the Warriors. We have Aaron Baines, who was with the Celtics, who just signed with the Phoenix Suns. We have multiple NBA championship winners in Matthew Dellavedova and Patty Mills. And so those two, and then we're hopeful, if Ben Simmons decides to play, he's not a bad addition either.
No.
If he plays. But we have a good core group, and that group lost to Team USA at the Olympics 2 years ago by 1 point. So it's a team that's been on the stage and been together for a long time. So we're hopeful that their experience can help moving forward here.
When you're in an environment like that with other coaches at the global level, do you pick up little things still here and there, and you're like, hey, man, I'm going to try that back with the Highlanders. That might work for us too.
Look, when they initially asked me, my first and foremost deal was how does that help me in UCR and help the Highlanders? And I'm fortunate that it's during our summer break when the games are on. But our coaching staff, I have Luke Longley, who our older guys may know.
Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, who's an assistant coach who played with Michael Jordan. I'm alongside him, I should say. And we have Andre Lamanis, who's our head coach, I can pick up a lot from them. And you can pick up a lot from the other teams that we're playing. The game has become so global that you look at Serbia, Croatia, Lithuania, who's in our poll. They help mold the game of basketball in the NBA. So to be able to be in the same arenas with those teams and be able to scout them, there are definitely some nuggets I can try to bring back here and hopefully help us.
Well, Coach, we always appreciate the time. Best of luck in China, and I guess you're going to just keep your bags packed, right? And just keep making your way around the world.
No doubt. Hopefully I can find a Highlander out there on the road as well. But thanks so much for having us on your show, and we really appreciate it at UCR.
Anytime, Coach. We love having you here, so we appreciate it. That's David Patrick, UCR men's basketball coach. Johnny, I'm going to call the audible. Do we have that Spoiled video real quick? I want to give Spoiled a quick shout-out on their new location, which is just off Arlington Avenue. In fact, Coach, roll into Spoiled and ask for the Pep Fernandez special, and it's got to be something good, right? So everyone's got a car. Everyone needs the oil change. So Spoiled, quick quality oil change right there off of Arlington Avenue in the 91, right here in the Rib. So that's their second location. Go check it out. Spoil yourself. Spoil your car at Spoiled. Quick quality oil change. We love you, Bill Navigado. And thank you, Johnny. Good job. Big thanks to Coach Patrick, the Kaiser Cats, Justin Dedich, and Mike Lindskog Lindskog, the biggest face in the Cal League. We'll see you next time on the Inland Sports Show as we are live from Teen Vision TV 16.